Well, good evening. Welcome to day 5 of the Pharaohs Rally, the 12th Pharaohs Rally, 5th round of the FIA Cross Country World Cup, taking place around the ancient country of Egypt. There's a map of where we've been going and where we are going. This, of course, the Great Pyramids at Giza, focal point of the rally, which started from Alexandria on Sunday, and tonight, on Thursday, we are close to the southernmost point of Egypt, Abu Simbel, in the deep south, close to the border with Sudan, at the end of 6 special stages. And this is the scenery right down in the south after these 5 very hard days of all-out rallying, a great battle between Citroen and Mitsubishi. This is the bivouac here at Abu Simbel. Food waiting for the raiders, coming down south today on a 540-kilometer stage. Just 36 cars out of 48 original started this morning, and 26 bikes out of the original 40. Couscous, traditional Egyptian fare, beautiful salads here in the south of Egypt, all waiting for the survivors tonight.
We're just lucky that the helicopter didn't stop the helicopter. The bikes are rockets.
And these are the scenes during today's long trek south, the Sud stage, south to the south, long abandoned forts, cities, extremely arid areas here, still in the Western Desert. But first, having a quick look back at yesterday's stage, the 481-kilometer Apocalypse Now stage, which ran from the hot springs of Farafra to the oasis of Al-Hajri in the Western Desert. This was Timo Salonen for Citroen, who won the stage yesterday. His second stage victory. Citroen ZX Rally Raid, 330 horsepower, 2.5-litre engine. Salonen, the 1985 World Rally Champion for Peugeot. Salonen driving with Britain's Fred Gallagher. And last night they were 4th overall, after an excellent performance, winning the stage over this very difficult section. And you can see just how tough the going was yesterday. Our helicopter then picks up Gubertorial, 3rd on yesterday's stage, but still the overall rally leader last night. Gubertorial, known as Mr. Africa, born in Ethiopia. One of those experienced of all the raiders, 21 special stage wins on Paris-Dakars over the years when he was a biker, now of course riding in cars. He won the Atlas Rally in 1988, he won this rally, the Pharaohs, in 1990 in Alada, and of course he won the 1992 Paris-Cape Town at the wheel of a Mitsubishi, soon after changing to Citroen to do the Paris-Beijing, on which he finished 5th. 3rd on this year's Paris-Dakar Rally, and at the moment firmly in control of the 1993 Pharaohs Rally. This beautiful countryside providing some moments here for Said Al-Hajri. Al-Hajri yesterday running 3rd on the stage, but staying 2nd overall in the only surviving Rothmans Mitsubishi Pajero. His teammate Bruno Sabi, the 1993 Paris-Dakar winner, was out yesterday with a broken engine. They think a stone got into the oil pump drive. So Al-Hajri, one of the most experienced of the Desert Raiders, started rallying in 1978. Middle East Rally champion twice. 2nd on the Atlas Rally last year. And his co-driver Henry Mine from France. He's been a Dakar since 1982. And in 1990 he won the Tunis, Atlas and Australian Safari rallies. Very experienced co-driver. helping Al-Hajri get out of some of these holes. 320 horsepower from the Mitsubishis, they're 2-litre. Permanent four-wheel drive like the Citroens, and also like the Citroens, turbocharged. Jean-Louis Schlesser, twice world sports car champion Mercedes, now adventuring in his own Renault engine buggies, stuck firmly in the sand, finished 7th on the stage today, yesterday, and 5th overall last night. Being towed out by one of the passing Mitsubishis. And this was the scene last night as they arrived at the oasis of Al-Hajri. As we see Eddie Orioli on the Cagiva with his teammate right behind him, Jordi Arcarons, both Cagiva mounted. This is Orioli on the Albatros Cagiva 750. Won the Paris-Dakar twice, in 1988 for Honda and in 1990 for Cagiva. Second on the Pharaohs Rally in 89 for Cagiva, so he knows how to do this. Last year though, he turned to four wheels and did the Pharaohs in a Mercedes, deciding though he prefers the feel of the wind in his face. Here he is back alongside his Spanish teammate Jordi Arcarons on the Lucky Strike Cagiva 750. Arcarons second on the Pharaohs in 1990 for Cagiva. This year on the Paris-Dakar he finished 3rd overall on a Yamaha 850. He too deciding to go back to Cagiva, and this is what they mean by saddleback hills all the way through the stages. Yesterday, so Orioli second, Arcarons first yesterday to stay at the top of the rally with Franco Pico in 3rd place. Watching Orioli, now Arcarons. This is Franco Pico we pick up at speed towards the end of the afternoon. Franco Pico, a dentist by profession from Milan in Italy. He's on the KTM 600, second on the Paris-Dakar in both 1988 and 1989. And still loves every moment of it, but he's finding the KTM 600 is not as long-legged as the Cagiva 750s, and although he's had no problems at all throughout the rally, he's just dropping back every day. So as they go into Al-Hajri last night, the Oasis, have a good night's sleep, because today they had a 540-kilometer sprint south to Abu Simbel. We'll be looking at that after a short break. So we leave you with Franco Pico. Stay with Eurosport. We'll be back in a minute or two. Back to Eurosport. This is Mark Coe. We are looking at today's stage map from Al-Hajri to Abu Simbel. Abu Simbel on the shores of Lake Nasser, and this is the fabulous temple, 3,000 years old, of Ramesses II. It was moved stone by stone from the valley floor as the Aswan Dam flooded Lake Nasser between 1963 and 1972. It's one of the highlights of ancient Egypt. It's 20 meters high, those statues, and these are the dunes behind, during which today the raiders are racing into Abu Simbel. This in the 204 car is none other than Saeed Al-Hajri, the only surviving prototype Mitsubishi. So it's one Mitsubishi against 4 Citroens now. It's a great battle, and Al-Hajri putting in a great performance today. This is one of the fastest ever stages run on the Pharaohs Rally. 145 kilometer average for today's winner, and Al-Hajri timed today at 209 kilometers on this stage, 131 miles an hour. That we're looking at in the 205 car is none other than Hubert Oriol, and at this point Al-Hajri was 2 minutes ahead of Oriol at the halfway stage of the 540 kilometers Sud du Sud section. But there's Al-Hajri. He has a problem later. He has a flat tire 20 kilometers from the finish, and he will lose 4 or 5 minutes getting it repaired. Oriol wins the stage. By just 3 minutes 16 seconds, and stays in the overall lead of the rally. Al-Hajri chasing him in afterwards. So a great battle between these two up the front of the field. They're dropping everyone else behind now. They are 15 minutes apart at the end of the day, and the third place man, Alain Ambrosino, 52 minutes behind them. Still with Hubert Oriol. Oriol, co-driven by his longtime friend Gilles Picard, a bike racer, 38 from Nancy. Picard himself, a Dakar, won the Tunisia Rally in 84, was third on the Pharaohs in 87 on a bike, and sixth on the Paris-Le Cap in 92 before changing to cars. Al-Hajri accompanied by Henry Main, as we said earlier. If it hadn't been for that puncture, he would have probably won the stage today and could even have been in the overall lead of the rally. That's how close it is. So apart from that puncture, no problems for these two, Oriol and Al-Hajri, but a lot of problems for the other Citroens. Alain Ambrosino, he had rear-wheel drive only for most of the day after a front differential failed. Nonetheless, he managed to finish third, just 4 minutes behind his team leader Oriol, and Ambrosino stays in third place overall on the Pharaohs Rally. Ambrosino, one of the most experienced of the engineers on the rally, often in a chase car row. He's given his head this time on the Pharaohs. There's the Citroen service vehicles, no need for him to stop. Everything's okay now. Nothing they can do about it. And there, in the far distance, helicopters chasing him in, is Jean-Louis Schlesser in his Renault V6 powered buggy. A good day for Jean-Louis, but finding his two-wheel drive only in this soft sand often limits his top speed to about 185 kilometers an hour. No problems, he said. A very popular Frenchman, driving with Philippe Monet. Monet, the round-the-world yachtsman who won the Paris-Dakar, the Paris-Le Cape Town in 1992 with Hubert Oriol. This is Pierre Lartigue for Citroen, and he has a problem today, a transmission problem. We believe it was a front drive shaft that broke on the Citroen, which cost him some time. Lartigue losing 1 hour and 40 minutes. Then had a puncture afterwards. Didn't help his temper at all today. 206. Timo Salonen, he too broke a front drive shaft and he lost time as well. So at the end of the day, Oriol from Al-Hajri, Ambrosino, Schlesser moving up into 4th place. Salonen 5th, Fontenay 6th. As he comes in for a service.
We broke the 2 front drive shaft. We need to change. We have only rear wheel driving now.
You have to repair it, and
yeah, it's better if there is soft sand, you know, maybe we got stuck. It's better to repair here.
So work for the Citroen mechanics, 2 drive shafts. This is Al-Hajri.
Except the last 20 kilometers I have when punctures, flat tires. And I stopped it for 3.5, 4 minutes to change it.
So So that's the situation in the cars at the end of the day. Oriol and Al-Hajri very close together. Ambrosino, Schlesser and Salonen dropping further back now, but Schlesser, a great performance today. We're going to take a short break. Please stay with us on Eurosport for the Pharaohs Rally. Well, welcome back to Egypt. This is Mark Cole looking at stage 6 of the Pharaohs, Egypt. Is this an eagle or is it an albatross? We'll find out in a moment, because the albatross is the sponsor, of course, of Eddie Orioli. And here they come across these vast sections of desert, heading south to Abu Simbel. There is the bike brigade, headed by Jordi Arcarons and Eddie Orioli. They've been riding together all day long, and you can see how far ahead they are of the chasing pack. So Orioli in second place on the Albatross, Kajiva, Arcarons leading overall, and they finish tonight just 5 seconds apart on the stage. And 3 minutes 56 apart on the overall rally. Orioli saying he's very happy to ride with his partner, so that's riding for both of them. Arcarons from Spain on the Kajiva 750, Orioli from Italy on his Kajiva 750. Orioli, the more successful of the riders in his career. But Arcaron's doing a great job this year on the Pharaohs Rally. Total distance of 4,720 kilometers over the 11 days of the event. 12 special stages. The longest stage they've had already was 620 kilometers 2 days ago, and the shortest stage they've had already, 9-kilometer desert hill climb on Monday night. But 8 of the stages have no liaison sections, and today is one of them. They go straight from bivouac to bivouac, racing all the way. These bikes having to refuel at about the halfway mark. The cars having a much better fuel capacity, obviously, 400-litre fuel tanks on the Mitsubishis and the Citroens, whereas the bikes have to make do with their 40-litre tanks. Orioli picking his way over the stones, and always there is his shadow, Jordi Arcarons. Going further and further south, and just look how impressive this is. Of the bikes this morning, we had 26 starters of the 40 original entries. I think most of them we just saw in that picture there. And behind these two, Franco Pico, the Milan dentist, still doing his best to keep with them, but just dropping further and further back. Today, for instance, he finished about 30 minutes behind them, just unable to make up that distance. So he's now 1 hour 50 minutes behind them in third place, but nonetheless a great showing by the man who finished second on the Paris-Dakar in 1988 and 1989, KTM 600. Bikers following each other going south. Remember, no real road books here, it's all done on GPS navigation systems, compass bearings. Reconnaissance is not allowed. As Fangyi, the organizer of the rally, welcomes in to Abu Simbel. There is Lake Nasser, just a bit of it in the background you saw. End of a very, very long day, and tonight the first hotels they'll have stayed in since they left Alexandria on Sunday. Jordi Arcarons to the stage. Very, very hard. Very long stages, so many kilometers. There's a lot of work on the bike. We had soft sand, stones, holes. So the rhythm's really fast today. Running at 150 to 160 kilometers an hour, which is quite a heavy bike for the marathon series. We have to be strong. They ask him about the concentration. He said, well, that's difficult too with the speed. When you've been driving for a long time, over 100 kilometers, you still have to pay attention every moment of the way. There's a lot of dangers. You only have to look up for one moment and you could be down. So if you lose reflexes, you're concentrating on the navigation, which is hard enough to do as well. So it's easy to make mistakes and you'll be out of the rally. So the last kilometre is the most dangerous because we're very tired then, your eyes are tired, you've got some problems seeing the road ahead of you. Well, somebody out for the day, a fall there for Hansen, and he's just having his shoulder patched up, a lot of damage to the bike. I don't think he'll be continuing, his navigation equipment damaged. And so to Abu Simbel and Lake Nasser. Lake Nasser flooded by the High Aswan Dam in the 1960s. Incidentally, one of only two man-made objects you can see from the moon, the other being the Great Wall of China. So a chance to relax at the bivouac in the hotels here at Abu Simbel tonight, and of course to take the waters. This is the Nile, the section at which it becomes Lake Nasser, and evening falls tonight over this most beautiful part of Egypt, ancient Egypt. There's the positions after 6 stages. Archeron, Zorioli, Pico, the top 3 there. Montebello and Marmiroli, but Jutta Kleinschmidt, a great ride today. She is in 6th place, just behind Marmiroli. So tomorrow the rally moves up north again. It goes up the side of Lake Nasser, up to Aswan, the High Aswan Dam. It's going to be a long, hard ride again. And of course, we will be back tomorrow night on Eurosport, bring you the Pharaohs Rally. There's the route tomorrow. Stay with us. We'll see you for day 6 of the Pharaohs Rally then.